That's the face you're gonna have on the YouTube clip.
Hey guys, we were just talking about our live faces on these clips, so you're welcome. But anyway, welcome back to the Elder Elves playing Tether with each other. But it's actually a game, but we're also playing. We're playing this game.
Role-playing game. Mostly story-based.
If this is your first jaunt into this, it is a, like Colin said, a 2-player TTRPG. It comes in a book form, such as this, with cool drawings, or you can get it as a PDF. But it's pretty great, and we've been playing through it. We are on our 3rd prompt now, and if you want to see our journey, you can go back a couple of videos, or not. Yeah. It's up to you. We're not going to pressure you. No pressure.
No. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. You do you.
You do you.
You do you. The game was made by Adam Buffoni, by the way, and it's available. I think we've said the link before, and yes. I think it might even be somewhere on our pages, one of our pages. But you can find him. It's pretty easy to find, actually.
Yeah.
And basically the way it works is we're telling a story collectively by drawing cards from a deck, and each card corresponds with a prompt, and then we write a journal entry based on that prompt.
Correct.
And my prompt for this time was that I come face to face with one of my fears, not necessarily in a life or death situation.
Very exciting. I'm going to just put that out there. Also, it's a little disconcerting because on my end, I see 2 Collins because of my setup situation. So I look down and I just see him staring at me. And then,
2 Collins.
So if I'm looking past the camera, I'm looking at another setup. So sometimes you got to do these things. I always wanted that. 2 Collins.
2 Collins.
One cup. 1 mug.
2 Collins, a girl in a pizza place.
Oh.
Since we're going for the 90s references.
That's true. There's 3 Collins and a little lady. We just need 1 more Colin.
I just need 1 more Colin.
Get Penny in here. They look kind of like you.
I think they might take that offensively.
Yeah, maybe, but they're, cut from the same cloth. Oh, you have your card up there.
I did. Can you see it?
Yeah, this is mine.
I don't know if they can see it actually on the live stream.
Oh, they can't? Oh, there.
Well,
there it is. So how do we get our prompts once again before Colin gives us his rundown, his entry? When you go to page... Sorry, it doesn't actually have a page number. Yes, it does. We'll say 8 and 9. It gives you all the prompts per setup. So right now we're on the heart page. And at some point we'll be moving into diamonds. And it goes into clubs and then spades. So... Ooh, spooky time. We are not reading these prompts ahead, so we're learning about them as you do.
Just like the characters would.
Yeah.
Because my character is 30 years in the future. Your character is in 1993.
Oh, what a year.
What a year.
What a year.
I remember it like it was 30 years ago.
Oh, man. When we had dial-up.
And my joints didn't hurt.
I didn't even have internet at that point. I just had a gateway computer.
I think we had an Austin computer.
There you go. There you go.
I'm not sure if those were widely made available or not.
Did someone paint Austin on the side? Did they? This is our Austin computer, but it's actually just someone.
It definitely didn't fall off a truck.
It did. You peel that plastic. You know those plastic names that you can type in and click, click, click.
That's exactly what happened.
It's over the Dell. It just peels off, and you're like, oh, I thought we had a Dell.
That's weird.
They got it in Austin. That's why it's called an Austin.
Yeah, this brand's Austin. That's what this brand is.
Okay. So messed up. All right. So,
quick recap. My character accidentally got high, hid out in their father's abandoned gas station, where they overheard two voices arguing, saying that William Cutter's secret would burn this town down. Your character is living with her grandparents for the year in the same town 30 years earlier. And her grandparents said that William Cutter was a soldier who came back into town, and then the town got very prosperous right after that, and no one knew where he came from or how he got back.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other stuff in there too. But
yeah, a little bit. Some arguing occurred. Some mystery happened. And
I believe the term "life for a life" was bandied about.
Ooh.
All right.
A society?
The society, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Society. So now we'll move on. Entry number 3, 4 of Hearts. Hello, Charlie. This is very surprising. I wasn't expecting to get a reply from what I wrote. But then again, this doesn't seem to be a normal book, especially with that message in the beginning. I noticed you put 1993 as the date. Is that what year it is for you? It sounds like you may still be pretty young. How old are you? I want you to know it's very important you don't go looking for trouble. I wouldn't want you to get hurt, or worse, get in trouble with your grandparents. I'm sorry they were fighting, but I don't know of any society. I moved away from town a long time ago, but maybe my mom knows. I'll ask her. Don't worry about what I was saying last time. Let's just say I ate too much grass and wasn't feeling myself. I'll tell you a secret, though, but only if you promise not to go getting yourself mixed up in anything having to do with this town. Did you promise? Okay. The bridge you were talking about, the one named after William Cutter, I went there yesterday. You see, the two people I overheard in the gas station, one of them was Veronica Silverstone. The town renamed the bridge after her a while back. I'm still not sure who she was talking to, but I did recognize her voice. Her family still owns, the majority of property here in East Prairie. They made a fortune farming all kinds of stuff and selling it to large companies. They also own a real estate agency, which means anything they can own here, they do own. Her family has a lot of money. I went on a walk to clear my head and found myself at the Silverstone Bridge. I didn't really think I would find anything there. Boy, was I wrong. To be honest, I hate that bridge because it's very high and I have a thing called vertigo. So as I walked across it, I started to feel very dizzy. As I got to the center, I had to grab the side of the bridge to steady myself. The small river that runs under it usually flows pretty straight. But when I looked down, which, by the way, never do if you have a massive fear of heights. The river had a huge whirlpool, a dead center in it, right under the bridge. Do you know what I saw in the center of that, at the bottom of the riverbed? An old safe, the kind you see in movies. And it had a red dial in the center for a combination lock. The more I looked at it, the more it felt like I was being pulled off the bridge. I almost fell. But a very nice woman with purple hair helped me to the end of the bridge. Talk about right place, right time. There was something off about that safe, though. It looked like it was from the 1940s. I'm going to go back and get a closer look later.
Ooh. I like it. I like, hilariously, this is how like our brains work very similarly. Originally, when I was going to write mine, I was going to have her go to the bridge, and that's where she found the book in the water in a bag underneath the bridge. And I
thought about dropping the journal in there in the water. And then I was like, it's probably too soon for that, because I don't know how I would get it. I would have to go find it.
Well, yeah, and like that's amazing. I love it. There's so many like good elements of we have this rich family buying up everything.
And in my first journal entry, you remember, because my character Jordan's just back in town from selling off their startup company in LA, and any of the businesses either have a help wanted sign or a sold sign, or abandoned or whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely a crumbling town.
It's not what it used to be.
No, something's definitely off about it. I like it. I like that they're still like, how old are you?
Who I'm speaking to.
The response is, I don't talk to strangers. My mommy told me not to talk to strangers.
You seem strange.
I mean,
the whole thing's strange. But yeah, I like the idea of building on what you said about after William Cutter had come back, the town had gotten prosperous. And farming was really good and everything. Everything was the golden years, I think, is how Charlie's grandfather posted it. And he had been a soldier. William Cutter had been a soldier. And everybody thought he was dead.
Yep. So 40s, 50s, 40s good. 50s was the golden era. They knew back then it was so good.
They did know.
It's cauliflower country.
Yeah, get me in on some of that cauliflower money.
I made my money in the cauliflowers. In flour. I'm a flower person. Oh yeah, broccoli flowers, cauliflower.
We revolutionized the cauliflower pizza crust. We were way ahead of the gluten-free era.
Man.
What I think's kind of interesting is I like that we could still at any point take a turn and take the story wherever we want to go.
We could left field it in a very fast succession.
Yeah.
But I think this is why I'm like really digging this game so much. You have two writers that are like, our style is not the same, but we are, I think, mentally kind of playing tag, and
that's exactly what it is.
I don't see it super curveballing too far, but you are a curveball kind of when we play anyway. He will, for anybody that does not know, when this man starts throwing dice, all bets are off what he's going to do. All right. Sometimes he just decides to run around and sneak into big city
military
places,
camp?
yeah, military camps, and cause a ruckus, or I mean, there's so many things you've done.
Poking the bear is fun.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't anybody want to do that?
A little chaos isn't bad.
Here's another question I had while I was writing this,
Yeah.
which happened the last time I was doing a journal entry, because we're physically writing in a book.
We are.
We're not typing it out. We're not texting it. We're not improving it, whatever. Physically writing it with a pen and paper. Is your hand cramping up?
A little bit. I'm like, I haven't done this for so long.
That's exactly right.
I'm so used to this tippity tappity tippity backspace, but this, like, you can't backspace, which is, it's kind of a nuanced thing. I feel like we're talking about, like, oh, I handwrote this story, it is, you can't, like, you make a mistake and you have to put a line through it and change it and scribble it out. So, like, I was trying to video myself for TikTok, right, to have, like, these little clips, and then I'd stop and be like, oh shit, I wrote, like, a couple lines after that. So I was like, you know what, screw it, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
And we're gonna,
I'm gonna so long. Like, I can't even really remember the last time that I hand wrote something longer than a quick note. Or like a page and a half of a letter. Right?
Yeah, I think this is the longest I've written in a while. The book that I'm writing now, there's a huge chunk of it, like almost not half of the book, but very close to it, that I hand wrote, which is fucking nuts. And then I just took those chunks and put it into computer, and that equated to over 8,000 words. And then my computer crashed, and then I had to do it all over again. And I was like, why? Why do I do this to myself? And I was so thankful to have written so much that I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do this all the time. So I have chunks of, like, book or thought processes of another thing or another project, like, all over, like in Post-it note form, but not to the extent that I had been writing. So this is, like, the first project that I wrote extensively, like 5 pages worth of stuff,
Moleskine has this thing, which I think is really cool. It's pretty expensive. And I always talk myself out of getting it, because every time I try to write with my physical hand, it gets all cramped. But it's a pen and it's a notebook, and the pen records everything you write.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
It's crazy cool, but I'm like, I'm not going to buy, like, such an expensive pen to then be like, oh, my hand. Oh.
My hand hurts.
Oh.
I need, like, one of those pen to, like, if they have the text to voice, so every time I write something, it just says, if I talk it, it records it, and then it just translates into written. That would be great too. Yeah, I can do it on my phone, guys, but, like, via combo.
So I've thought about this before too, because in Star Trek and stuff, they would always dictate whatever we're talking about, and in my mind, anytime I've tried to do that when I'm writing a story or anything like that, it's not the same. When I sit down to write with a keyboard, I get a different, like, mental flow. It's almost like a different muscle than when I sit down and, like, dictate into my phone something that I'm writing, which is also a totally different thing from when I sit down and handwrite something. So, like, when I would sit down, if I was to sit down and write this story that we're doing on a keyboard, I think it would come out differently than how I'm doing it now with my physical hand, and how I would do it actually, like, sitting down and talking.
I feel like
thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think with like, if I have Word up, I feel like my thought processes can just flow, and I can just unconsciously kind of just let it out.
Yeah, it's like a stream of thought.
Yeah, just go. When I'm en route, so like when I'm working and I'm outdoors, and I have a tendency to like walk and talk to myself, and people caught me and they're like, yeah, we always see you walking and talking. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm doing? They're like, what? I said, I just wrote out a whole chunk of my book.
Right.
And they're like, holy crap, really? And I'm like, yeah, like I was trying to work out some dialogue, so I'll talk out the dialogue as I go. So I don't know how many people caught me on Ring Cam, like whole chunks of a book, right? Just me being
the whole neighborhood has like one page each of your book
probably
on their Ring Cam.
Like I walk up and I'm like, and then and I see the Ring Cam and I'm like, hi. And then I put it in, I walk right, and then I'll be like, and then this happens, right? And then I'll just like talk to myself the whole day. But if I have a good chunk, like I'll go back to when I get back to my truck, it's like a 15-minute loop or something I do. I'll get back to my truck and I'll try to write everything that I remembered saying down, or I'll pull my phone out and I'll send myself an email. So I have written like a ton of stuff and just emailed myself this like stream, and I take it and I can copy paste and move it. Where this, it's just like, okay, I'm sitting down. I don't, I have a little bit of a, like I can process it a tiny bit. Because we do this on a Tuesday, and when it was my turn to write, I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write this thing, I'm going to really do this. And then like 5,000 things came up.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm going to get to this. So when I finally got to it and sat there and I'm like, I'm doing this, it was over in such a quick fashion. And I got so quick into it that I was like, how many pages were we saying? Like how long did we want to do this? And, like how much is too much? But I just kind of let it run. And I think you did too.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. And I'm a lot of the same way when I'm writing a story. I'll usually just like daydream the whole thing, sort of like almost like I'm playing a movie.
Okay.
In my head, and then I'll just sort of try to remember physically like as much as I can, and then if I'm actively writing, I'll sit down and type it out.
Now,
yeah, with this, it's the same way. Like I sit down and I notice I'm sort of taking it as if I actually am writing a journal entry to whoever this other character is. So I'm sort of putting myself actively in the position of Jordan to write the story.
Now, when you typically write, do you, because I've talked to other writers about this, and everyone has a different process, but do you write point A to point C or B? You know, like, do you do the linear shot? You sit down and you're like, boom, 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 story done. Or do you, and this is what I do, I chunk everything. So like I'll be, and I think it's the ADD that like really kicks in for me. Hi. It'll like, I'll be writing in a straight line and then something's like, hey, no, stop. This, you need to write this out. So I'll hop, and I don't know where it's going to go in the book yet, but I just jam it into a blank spot somewhere, type it out, just get it out of my system. Then I'll go, oh, hey, I know where I want to link that. And I'll take it and I'll move it to where it goes, and then go, you know what? I want to edit that a little bit, edit it. And then in mid-edit, I'm like, oh man, this other PC, it is the ADD. Never mind. I just worked that out. But
compared to that, I write very linearly.
Okay. Then you're not in full chaos mode like me then.
No. But I usually do. Sometimes it's hard because when I think of a story, it's usually based on an image or a picture of kinds, something, a frame basically of whatever the story is, and kind of have that idea incorporated, and then I'll kind of build around that world, which is sort of how I build like D&D characters too. Like there's usually an asset or a fixation on like a point, and then I sort of backlog whatever is before or current, and then like think about where I want that person or the story to go.
Okay.
And with this, this is different, because this I can't project what the story is going to be,
right?
Because you have the next bit, and then I'll have the next bit.
Yeah.
Like, so I can only do that journal entry.
Right.
So for this point, I'm only writing, what's probably 45 minutes in this person's day.
Right. It's only a snapshot, and that's interesting to me, like in a creative way.
Yeah.
Because you're not like given, okay, write this story. This is your character. Write it.
Mm-hmm.
You're given, take this prompt, write it. It's going to fit. Use elements of someone else's stuff or don't. But really, like, if you want a full narrative, link them somehow. Give some sort of narrative. It could be that we're hunting, like, bad bread people. Like his secret was like pesticide free, like radioactive germinating turnips or something, like that was his, and that's what the secret is, and that's why it was so good. I feel like it's like really good fertilizer. That's his secret.
Let's call them radio turnips.
Blend it. No, he learned composting, and that's really at the end of the day, but it is
okay. Do you want to draw your next prompt?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
We're gonna try and keep these videos to like 30 minutes, guys.
Yeah.
For
sweet, tight.
Short, sweet, makes you feel good at the end. All right.
Yeah, that's always what short and sweet does.
Well, the sweet part really is what makes you feel good. The short part is like, yeah, go ahead.
Here comes your card.
All right.
Here it comes. Wait. Is that right?
Yes.
Is it supposed to be later? No, we're good.
No, we're good. All right, here we go. Here comes the prompt. The Ace of Hearts. You see the terror firsthand, or witness an event that you know was caused by it. What do you learn about the terror? Why are you more afraid after what you see?
I told you not to go looking for trouble.
Oh, shit. I went to the library, man.
And that's where the terror was.
Oh, you know what? You said that you were going to go to the bridge. I just wanted to go see if there's anything.
So you get to be the first one to see the terror.
I do. Uh-oh. Or witness an event that you know was caused by it.
Right. I guess that's true. Oh, man.
All I can think.
What do you think you're gonna do? You have any idea?
Well, part of me wants to like pull on this woman with the purple hair.
Okay.
A little bit. The thing is, you said she's a woman with purple hair, and all I can think of is like the old women that get their hair dyed and it's purple.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, like it's a thing, guys. Like I've seen it, and I'm like, that's rad.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking of that kind of thing.
That's funny because that is not. I don't want to say anything to. I don't want to say anything to sway you, so we can talk about it like after we're done with the whole game. But that's interesting. That's not what I was thinking at all.
Yeah, she's old. Maybe she's old in my time. I don't know. There's so many ways I can go about doing this, and now I'm like
curious.
I might let it sit with me.
Yeah, let it germinate.
Yeah, to figure out how bad do I want the terror to be? Like, how do I want it? How do I want to see it manifest?
Yeah.
Like,
I love that.
Is it
everybody gets to find out next Tuesday.
How it is.
So you can follow us here Tuesdays. We restream and put up the podcast on Wednesdays, so tomorrow. You can find me at colincarlton.com or all over the internet at Colin Carlton VO. Miranda.
You can find me at Obscuration on all the things, TikTok, honestly, everything, and the Elder Elves now. So,
ta-da!
The end.
Thanks, everybody. See you next week.